Hello, and welcome to the Promise Pre-Registration Workshop presented by the San Diego Mesa College Counseling Department. During this session, what you will be learning is, amongst a few other things, how to prepare to transfer to a four-year college or university, how to obtain an associate degree or certificate of achievement, what are general education or GE courses, and how to select the best GE pattern for you and your goal, how to understand your math and English placements or milestones, how to search and register for San Diego Mesa College or SDCCD courses, how to develop an abbreviated education plan, which you will then finalize in a counseling virtual drop-in session in a future date. The first thing we're going to talk about is pathways. Each student has a unique goal and a unique path to meet that goal. Not one student is the same as another. Your pathway is unique, and Mesa offers a variety of different degrees, also transfer and technical programs, and certificates. Depending on what your goal is, counseling will help you develop a pathway to achieve that goal. It's a collaboration between the student and the counselor. First, let's cover transferring to a college or university to obtain a bachelor's degree. But most of you can earn an associate's degree along the way on your transfer path anyways. Now, 60 units is a magical number that we want all students to think about. 60 units is a minimum of units that are required for transfer to most public colleges or universities within California. These 60 units are comprised of general education, or GE, or general ed, which depends on which GE approximately you choose. We'll go into that in a bit, but that is anywhere between 37 and 42 units. The rest of the units are also composed of the major prep or major preparation. The major preparation depends on the major you select and depends on the college you want to transfer to. We're going to be visiting two different websites, one www.assist.org and a second one, San Diego State University or SDSU TAP, to look for the prep for the major for most schools in California on assist.org, and SDSU TAP directly for SDSU major prep courses. If in between the general ed and the major prep courses you still don't achieve the 60 desirable units, the rest of the units come from electives. Electives are courses that are CSU transferable and needed to reach the 60 units you need in order to be able to apply to transfer. One thing to keep in mind is that you may have already completed some GE courses through high school or dual enrollment, or also through an AP course and passing the AP test. Remember to let your counselor know about this so that we can count it in between the number of achieving the 60 transferable units. Let's take a closer look of one question that students have very frequently. How do I know if units are transferable? How do I know if a class that I'm taking is transferable or not? A general rule of thumb is that if a course is numbered below 100, it is not transferable. Some courses numbered above 100 may not transfer to University of California institution. That's something to keep in mind. So you should always check the course description in the catalog or online to see if a course is CSU or UC transferable or both. As an example, right now we're visiting San Diego Mesa College's webpage and we're searching for all the courses by subject. Let's pick an example from the chemistry department, and all the different chemistry classes offered at Mesa are listed in this website. As an example, let's choose Chemistry 200, General Chemistry 1. One of the things that this tells us is that this course is transferable to both a UC system and a CSU. This class, Chemistry 200, you will be earning 3 units towards a UC system school or a CSU system school. Also, it's degree applicable. If you're earning a degree at San Diego Mesa College, these units also are applicable towards a degree. Now let's talk about general education, GE, and specifically which GE pattern is right for you. When we're talking about general education and choosing the one that's right for you, students come up with different answers in terms of what is the best GE pattern for them, depending on their goal. If you can see on the slide, Kayla, she wants an associate's degree in medical assisting. That's her goal when coming to San Diego Mesa College. For Rodrigo, he wants to transfer to SDSU for a major in biology. He didn't make any mention of an associate's degree right now. For Riley, she's not sure yet, but she has some ideas. She definitely knows she wants a bachelor's degree. It's okay to also be undecided. As you can see on the slide, we have students coming to Mesa that already know the career that they want to do. For Kayla, it's medical assisting, and she wants to achieve the associates at Mesa for that. For Rodrigo, he has a specific major in mind to transfer to SDSU, SCSU campus, and the major is biology. Or like Riley, she's really not sure. She has some ideas. She's undecided, but she knows she wants to achieve a bachelor's degree. When we're talking about the different general education patterns, one we will definitely mention is called the IGETC, I-G-E-T-C. We're going to use that word frequently in counseling. You use the IGETC if you identify with the following. If you want to apply to both a Cal State and a UC system school. If you want to apply to only a UC system school. If you want to apply to an out-of-state school. And if you're not quite sure right now about your goal, but you know you want a bachelor's degree, you just don't know for what school, and you don't know if you're going to stay in California or out of state, and if that's a private school or a public school. So for Riley, using the IGETC for now will be the best thing to do. She has a window of opportunity open if she wants to apply to CSUs or UCs in the future, if she thinks about a school where she wants to transfer out of state, if she wants to apply to a private school, if she wants to apply to a school within California, or a school without, and a school not being in California. Let me show you what the IGETC looks like. This is what the IGETC General Education or GE Pattern handout sheet looks like. When we're at Mesa on campus, this will be a paper printed document that you will see. However, electronically, it looks the same. If you notice, every area is called a specific area. Group A, Group B, Group C, Mathematical Reasoning, second page, Arts and Humanities, Social Sciences, Physical and Biological Sciences, and language other than English. Every single box, front and back, needs to be completed before you're able to apply to transfer to any school. This is where the credits we talked about, roughly 37 to 40, will come from GE or general education courses. Now let's revisit Rodrigo's goal. Rodrigo mentioned that he wants to transfer to a Cal State school, a CSU for short. Rodrigo will use the CSU GE sheet because his goal is to transfer to a Cal State school. He will then use transfer tools like www.assist.org, or if he wants to attend SDSU specifically, SDSU TAP, to discover his major prep courses. He also is going to have some prerequisite courses. We're going to talk about what those mean and what those are in a couple of more slides. Remember, 60 transferable units are required to transfer. Oftentimes, depending on the major, you will also earn an associate's degree along the way. Remember, Rodrigo wants to transfer to SDSU for a major in biology. Let me show you what the CSU sheet looks like. This is what the CSU General Education sheet looks like. Very similar to the IGETC, it also has its areas clearly delineated. Area A1, oral communication, Area A2, written communication, Area A3, critical thinking, and then you have your Area B, scientific inquiry and quantitative reasoning, your area for mathematics, second page, Area C, arts and humanities, Area D, social sciences, Area E, lifelong learning and self-development. Remember, you use the CSU GE sheet if you plan to attend any of the 23 Cal State campuses in California, such as San Diego State University, and you have no interest in applying to a UC campus or a private or an out-of-state school. Now, remember, Rodrigo wants to transfer to San Diego State University for a major in biology. He's going to complete the Cal State GE sheet, but he also needs to take all of the classes in preparation for the major for the biology major at SDSU. Right now, what you're looking at the screen is the SDSU TAP or Transfer Admissions Planner. If you just open up a search in your browser, such as Google, and you type SDSU TAP, it'll take you to this page. For us to look at the SDSU preparation for the major and required GPA that Rodrigo has to do for the biology major, we're going to click on the second area where it says search for transfer courses to meet SDSU's preparation for the major and required GPA. We're going to click on that, and then we're going to click on the major that Rodrigo wants to do at San Diego State. It's alphabetical. For him, we're going to choose the biology major, biology of arts or biology of science. Further conversations with Rodrigo will also let us know if he wants to do a specific concentration. For right now, we're going to go with biology bachelor's of science. We click on the major that Rodrigo wants to do, and then we click on select. Right now, the page is asking us from which school Rodrigo is coming from. Rodrigo is currently enrolled at San Diego Mesa College, so we're going to scroll to the S, where we're going to find, under the second area, San Diego Mesa College, a little bit towards the beginning of this list, and then we're going to click on Select. In a couple of minutes, this is going to show us all the preparation for the major that Rodrigo needs to do for the biology major at San Diego State, and it's going to tell him what's the minimum GPA that he has to do in order to be even considered to apply to transfer to that school, and just a nice little reminder about needing the 60 minimum transferable semester units. So on the bottom, you're going to see the title of the class highlighted in blue on the left side. However, Rodrigo needs to take all the classes listed under his school, which is San Diego Mesa College. So he needs to take Bio 210A, which is Principles of Cell and Molecular Biology with its corresponding lab, Bio 210B, Principles of Organismal Biology with its corresponding lab, Chemistry 200 and 200L, General Chemistry with lab, 201 and 201L, General Chemistry 2 with lab, Chemistry 231, Organic Chemistry and lab, and so on and so forth. One of the classes from physics, and one of the classes or sequences of calculus, as well as one biostatistics class. For students who want to attend San Diego State University, you will always go to SDSU TAP to find your preparation for the major. Now let's go back to Kayla. Remember, Kayla wants to get an associate's degree in medical assisting at Mesa. She wants an associate degree only. Right now, she hasn't stated that she wants to transfer. For an associate's degree, the general education that's going to be followed is the one that we call the blue sheet because we print it out in blue paper, but it's the general education needed in order to complete your classes from the district. I'll show you that in a minute. You will also follow the program's website for required courses and the prerequisites needed, if any, to apply to any of the medical assistant, radiologic technology, or any of our career technical programs at Mesa. Remember, a student still needs 60 degree applicable units when achieving an associate's degree. Right now, what you're seeing is the third GE pattern, the one needed to obtain an associate's degree. This is the general education needed for an associate's degree and completing the district requirements for San Diego Mesa City and Miramar colleges. A reminder of 60 degree applicable units is something to consider, and very similar to the IGETC and the CalState, it's going to show you specific areas where you need to complete your English for A1, A2, Communication and Analytical Thinking, your course from Natural Sciences, your course from Humanities on the second page, your course for Social and Behavioral Sciences, an additional course from anything in any of the areas I mentioned above, and under district competencies, completing your competency in reading and writing, your competency in mathematics, 2 classes under American institutions, your health requirement, your health education requirement by taking Health 101, your exercise science activity requirement, taking 2 units of exercise science classes, and your multicultural studies requirement. We'll go into more in depth for any of these once you start coming into counseling and doing a formal education plan. But if you're planning to get an associate's degree at Mesa and you don't have the desire to transfer at the moment, this is the general education pattern that you will be following. And remember, Kayla wants to attend and finish the medical assistant program at Mesa College. Right now, we're under a website at Mesa that shows all the programs that Mesa has to offer. At this point, we're looking at medical assistant, and I'm going to go to the department page for medical assistant so it can give me a little bit more information that I can share with Kayla. One of the things Kayla should be thinking about is on this left side, if the program has any prerequisite courses that she has to take and pass before she's even able to apply to the program. This is what we call prerequisite courses. So if you notice, Kayla has to take Human Anatomy and Physiology, so Meta 55, Human Anatomy or Physiology for 3 units, or Bio 160, Elements of Human Anatomy or Physiology, both with a C or higher, and taking within a specific amount of time within her application cycle. She also has to complete Medical Terminology, which is a 3-unit class, Meta 110, within a specific time frame before she's able to apply to the program, and also with a C or higher. So these are the prerequisite courses that Kayla has to take before even applying to the medical assisting program at Mesa College. Now, I mentioned some words during the last slide, and I mentioned the word prerequisite. There are 3 words that counselors will be referring to when we talk about specific courses. A prerequisite course, like the ones I showed you for the medical assistant program, is a course you need to meet and pass, meet that requirement before enrolling in that course or enrolling in a future program. A co-requisite is a course you need to take either before or at the same time along with another course that you want to take. Co-requisite means together. Prerequisite means before. Advisory is a suggestion of a course, but you're not going to be stopped from enrolling in the class if you don't take the course prior. Advisory just means that the professor will be teaching at that level, and the expectation is that you already know that content. As an example, let's go back to San Diego Mesa College's list of courses, and let's go back to our chemistry example. So let's say a student wants to take Chemistry 200, General Chemistry 1, lecture. Prerequisite is listed there where it's telling you that the student has to have taken and passed Chemistry 151 or 152 along with its corresponding lab, 152 and 152L, as well as having met the criteria for passing Mathematics 100 or 96 or 104 or 116 or 118 or above, or having a milestone of Math 50. A student cannot enroll in General Chemistry 1 until he or she has passed the prerequisite of Chemistry 152 with lab and has the necessary milestone for math, or has passed a prerequisite needed to enroll in this chemistry class. Now you can see that it's also a co-requisite for the student to take Chemistry 200L. Chemistry 200L is the corresponding lab for general chemistry. When you look at the description for the chemistry lab for Chemistry 200, it tells you how many units it is. Going back to one of the previous slides, if it's CSU or UC transferable, degree applicable, and then the co-requisite, it has to be taken at the same time as Chemistry 200. Now, a big part of coming to community college is thinking about your career. A major. To decide what your major is, really think about what career you would like or a subject that you're passionate about studying. There is often more than one major that leads to a particular career. And also, it is normal to be undecided about your major when at first you start. So connect with our Career Center for tools to help you make an informed decision. Let's talk about major. So courses required for your specific major or major prep can be found in assist.org or SDSU TAP. We already saw SDSU TAP when we talked about Rodrigo's biology major. Let me show you what assist.org means and what it is. Assist.org, or www.assist.org, is a website where we can find the preparation for the major for all majors at all public CSUs and UCs in California that are not SDSU. The first thing you want to do is select the school you're coming from. Mesa College is under S for San Diego Mesa College. And then you want to select the school you want to go to. We're here in San Diego, so let's choose UCSD. Once we have clicked on the school we're coming from and we indicated what school we're going to transfer to, we view the agreement. Similar to SDSU, then we need to decide on a major. Let's say that for this example, the major is bioengineering. We click on that and then we select View Agreement. A page is going to open up where it's going to show me the classes that this student needs to do in prep for the major before transferring to UCSD. You're going to look on the classes on the right side because those are the classes that you have to take equivalent to San Diego Mesa College. And you're going to notice the titles next to it: Introduction to Linear Algebra, Calculus 1, Calculus 2, Calculus 3, Differential Equations, the Physics sequence, the Biology sequence, the Chemistry sequence, and that's it. Similar to SDSU's TAP, you're going to see the classes you need for how many units is worth, and everything listed on the right side under Mesa is what the preparation for the major for this major at UCSD needs to be completed along with the IGETC for a student to transfer there. Now let's talk about your Math and English milestones or your Math and English placements on your MySCCCD account. So for your English, you are going to see different scores, and a W for writing and an R for reading, W30, W40, W50, R30, R40, R50. The combination together will show you what class you need to take. If you are in a W30 or R30, you need to take English 47A or 101X. If you are in a W40 and a Reading 40, you need to take English 47A or 101X. Notice how that English 47A or 101X definitely covers the first three columns. For W50, you're going to see that if you have a Reading 50 and an R50, you're going to be able to take 101 or 105. Let's go back to our page where it lists all the different disciplines at Mesa. Under English, you're going to find what English 47A is, Integrated Reading, Writing, and Reasoning. It's going to tell you the attached milestone to taking this class, how many units is worth, that it's only degree applicable, not transferable to a UC or a CSU, and the description of this class. Similar to that, we saw English 101. English 101 is for students that have, remember, a placement of W5, R5. It tells you how many units the class is worth, and this class is transferable to both a UC and a CSU, and it's also degree applicable towards getting an associate's degree. You're also going to find the course description. We also saw in that table English 105. That's called Composition and Literature. It tells you the assessment or milestone level, how many units is worth, the course description. It's transferable to both a UC and a CSU, and it's degree applicable. 101 and 105 are very similar in terms that they are both level 1 transferable composition classes. Reading the description, you might decide to take one over the other, and that's just preference. Now there are some classes here that have an X next to it. 101X in particular. Let's talk about what that means. What does the X mean next to a class? X is standing there for extra support. English 101, like we saw, is a 3-unit class, but English 101X is valued at 5 units. 3 units are for the English 101 course, and 2 units are the X extra support version of the class. The X portion of courses, the 2 units, are considered pass-no-pass only, and the 2 units of the X portion are not transferable. Even though you're enrolling in a 5-unit class, and it's an hour-long extra of a class, only 3 units are transferable to a UC and a CSU. However, you might want to get the extra support and the extra time with the professor or a tutor, depending on how the class is structured, so that you can be more successful and have a better basis to get your English skills for writing for the future. Now, here is the math grid based on your milestones. Don't get overwhelmed. We will talk you through this in a formal counseling session. When you meet with a counselor, we will help you further plan this. However, we want you to see what the different milestones mean. And if you're undecided, you can wait to take math until your second semester. That's a personal choice. So for math, most of the time your major determines what math requirement you want. You can see on the table that there are certain classes with an asterisk that are indicated as not UC transferable. You're going to see the same placement score of 30, 40, 50. Let's say you have an M30 and you're a science major, meaning you are a STEM major. You want to do biology or chemistry or computer science. You need to start at a placement of Math 96 or 96X or 116X or 104X. 96 is intermediate algebra, 116 is matrix algebra, 104 is trigonometry. Remember, X means extra support, therefore the class is longer, however, you have more time to practice your skills with the professor or a tutor. Similar, if you're a non-science major, let's say you want to take either a major in the arts, humanities, or social sciences, with a placement of M30, you will take 119X, which is statistics with support. If you're a business major, business administration, business management, international business, and you have an M30, you will also take Math 96, which is intermediate algebra, 96X, intermediate algebra with support, or 116X, which is matrix algebra with support. And like we said, don't worry, we'll talk you through this. We just want you to have a better idea of, depending on your major and your placement, what class you're going to be taking. One good resource to visit is ST Mesa's Mathematics Department's webpage. Some of you might want to challenge the placement of M30 and M40 so that you have a higher math placement and can take a higher math class. Here you can read information on what it takes to take a math advanced exam, aka a challenge exam, and you want to see the different areas, testing out of pre-algebra, testing out of beginning algebra, of applied algebra, of intermediate algebra, of testing out of trigonometry, testing out of college algebra, testing out of calculus, pre-calculus, or calculus. More information on this will be provided once we do an abbreviated session with students when you set that up. We want to show you what, if you're a student in a STEM major, your math sequence is definitely long. So the popular myth is that community college, it only takes 2 years to transfer. This is not true specifically for STEM majors. You're going to see in front of you that a student taking on a major such as biology, chemistry, engineering, computer science has a year 1, a year 2, and a year 3 worth of mathematics courses, all building upon each other, one having to be done before the other. Let us know if you want a challenge out of any of these courses so we can let you know the process depending on your goal. Differently, if you're a business major, and an alternate sequence to this would be taking matrix algebra, then applied calculus, then applied calculus 2. You will find these courses, again, when you look under SDSU's TAP website or Assist for information on what classes your school is going to require for you to take before you transfer over. If you're a major that it's a non-science, not business, not STEM, you're under arts, humanities, social sciences, there are other math options. Math 118 is a 3-unit course that's called Math for the Liberal Arts Student. This is CSU transferable. Math 119 is a 3-unit class called Elementary Statistics, and this is both UC and CSU transferable. Psychology 258 is a 3-unit course called Behavioral Science Statistics. This is both UC and CSU transferable. Depending on the goal, depending on the major, depending on the school, you may take any of these 3 options to satisfy your mathematics requirement if you're an art, humanities, or social science major. If your major is elementary teacher, the math sequence for you is going to be taking Math 210A, Concepts of Elementary School Math 1, and after taking that, Math 210B, Concepts of Elementary School Math 2. A co-requisite is actually also Math 212, Children's Mathematical Thinking, a 1-unit course. We will revisit this if you mention to your counselor that you're an elementary teacher major. One class we definitely recommend students to take in their first semester or their first year in college is Personal Growth 120, College Success and Lifelong Learning. This is a 3-unit course taught by us, counseling faculty, and is highly recommended for first-year students. It's a class that's transferable to a CSU and a UC, where you will learn skills in order to be a very successful college student, and skills in order to build on to be a lifelong learner. MESA offers different learning communities. We offer 4 different communities, one of them called CAPWA, which you will be required to take Personal Growth 120 and English 101 taught from an Asian Pacific Islander perspective. Contact Counselor Amber Alatorre for more information on this learning community. Umoja is a learning community that centers around the African American perspective. You will take Personal Growth 120 and English 101 taught from that perspective. Contact Counselor Michael Temple for more information on this learning community. Puente is a learning community taught from a Chicanx perspective. You will take Personal Growth 120 and English 101X taught from this perspective. Contact Counselor Raul Rodriguez for more information on eligibility. And also, if you're a STEM major, STEM Core might be the program for you. You will take Personal Growth 120, English 101, Trigonometry, or Math 116 for STEM majors. Contact Counselor Patty Rodriguez for more information on this learning community. As we're remote, there are definitely a lot of options in order for you to maybe solidify some of the questions you have in terms of career. The Career Center has remote, Zoom, virtual options for you, such as Major in Career Exploration and Readiness, career assessments such as the MBTI and the Strong Interest Inventory, online career preparation and tools, job and internship board, job network, peer-to-peer resume and cover letter review. Contact the Career Center via their Google Voice number, or email them, or visit their website for more information. So now let's talk about your next steps. You need to create a schedule, you need to enroll, and you need to pay for your classes on MySDCCD. Remember, it's always good to have a balanced schedule. However, a full-time student is enrolled in a minimum of 12 units, and this is a promise requirement. The promise program requires you to be a full-time student taking a 12-unit load. This is generally 4 classes. 12 units means that you're in class sitting for 12 hours a week. A lot of students ask if by taking on 12 units, do they have time to work? 12-unit class, roughly, you need to double it for hours of study time in a week. 12 units means 24 hours of study in a week, so total 36 hours are committed to your education per week. As a full-time student, we recommend working less than 20 hours per week. Why? Well, because planned study time is essential. Utilize resources. Mesa has a lot of resources to support your success if you do need to work more than 20 hours a week. The LRC for the tutoring center, the writing center, and all the different student support that you need in order to be a successful student. So when you're balancing work and school life, this table shows you a little of how many hours of work and how many units you can handle in order to be successful. If you're working 40 hours a week, you should take no more than 6 units. 30 hours a week, no more than 9 units. And what we recommend, because this is a promise requirement and you need to take 12 units in a full-time load, do not work more than 20 hours per week. Now, my SDCCD portal is your best friend for the time you're going to be at Mesa College. This is where you're going to search for classes, add them to your shopping cart, proceed with the purchasing of it, and finishing registering. It looks like this, and in a second I'm going to show you how to navigate it. Right now I'm logged in under my SDCCD portal under Student. One of the ways you're going to be able to find the, in this case, summer course schedule is by going to My Classes and Class Search. Depending on your registration date, you might already be able to register for classes, or you might be able to put them on your wish list. We're going to change the term to Summer 2020. We're going to select the school we want to find the class at. Remember, as an SDCCD student, you can take classes at City Mesa or Miramar campuses. However, because we're at Mesa, click on Mesa, click on the subject you want to look for a class. Let's look at Personal Growth, because that's a class we recommend all first-year students to take, and then Personal Growth 120, College Success. If you want to look for a specific class at short session, first session, inner session, you can always make those specifications. However, summer is short session anyway, so I'm going to leave it at all sessions and then click on Search. This is going to show me the list of Personal Growth 120 classes available in the summer. As we're recording this right now, the yellow triangle means that this class is already full and it's waitlisted, both with Professor Anthony Royce and with Professor Adam Erlenbush. It shows me the meeting dates and times for the class, and Mesa Web means that the class is 100% online. The icon of a $sign within the circle means that this class is a no-cost textbook class, meaning this class does not come with a book that you need to buy. When you select the class, it's going to let you then put it on a waitlist number. At this point, the waitlist is not full, otherwise it would indicate it here if the class was full. You select the class, you click on Next, and now the class has been added to your shopping cart. Remember, you're not registered because any class that's waitlisted, the professor needs to give you an add code or a permission code the first day of the class. At this point, you just have it on your shopping cart and you need to complete the steps in order to formally sign up for the drop list. When we click on the shopping cart, it's going to show me that the class right now is in my shopping cart. I haven't finished registering, and again, the class is waitlisted. I can't register without the professor's permission. However, when I click on Enroll, click on Select, click on Enroll, it's going to tell me that the class is now, after finish enrolling, that I am enrolled in the class in terms of the waitlist. Remember, the class is full and it's telling me that unable to add class because the class is full and I'm on the waitlist. That's something to consider. You always want to look for class sets that have the green circle because that means that the class is available and you can register right away. However, depending on the time of the semester that you register, some classes will be already full. More information on this will be provided after you do your abbreviated education plan setting with the counselor. Now, like I showed you in the MySTCCD portal, some classes we're going to have a no book requirement. Some classes have free books. Some classes you do have to purchase a book. So you can always check the books required for courses by clicking on the details of the class. And like I showed you, the one with Professor Anthony Royce for summer is an OER, Open Education Resources, no textbook related book purchase. Therefore, you might want to look into classes that have a 0 book cost because that might just be more cost effective for you. And you can purchase the Red Books at the Mesa bookstore or online. Now remember, the goal is to graduate, so you need to keep up with your grades, you need to know your resources, be active, and then continue to develop your education plan. And why are grades important? Well, remember, your GPA will be considered when applying to transfer. When we looked at Rodrigo's classes for SDSU and for his major, it needed a minimum of a 2.8 in order to be considered. There are minimum GPA requirements, competitive GPAs for some school and some majors, and definitely financial aid requires a minimum of 2.0 for you to receive aid. More than that, you're a Promise student, and the Promise program requires you to have a 2.0 GPA minimum in order to stay in the program. W's for withdraw, D's, F's, and incomplete grades also affect your standing. Too many D's, F's, W's, and or incompletes can negatively impact your academic standing and financial aid eligibility. Make sure you always ask financial aid for these types of questions. Also, you can ask a counselor. For resources on campus, make sure you're also your own self-advocate. Ask for help when you need it. Mesa has many different support services and offices in order to help you. Not one person will have all the different answers, so make sure you go to the different offices where you need support with. Inside the LRC, or the Learning Research Center, you can find tutoring, the library, the language lab, the writing center, computers and printing services, as well as the STEM Center. Remember to be active. As a student, there are clubs, student government, and campus events that you can be a part of. There are many ways to be engaged and involved on campus. Join a student club or start one. Be involved in decision-making by participating in student government. Attend campus enrichment events. It's always a good idea to follow SD Mesa College on Instagram for more information. Development. Remember, college is not only about academics, it is also about self-development, of growth, to develop your own growth mindset, to develop relationships, to develop as an adult. So remember, important steps to your success. Attend Cruise, our summer onboarding session for first-time college students. More information on the Mesa page for Cruise. Also, for Promise, have you completed your next steps? Check your email frequently to know the next steps that are required by June 11th for this incoming Fall 20 class. And financial aid, have you completed your FAFSA or California DREAM Act application? Don't forget these necessary 3 steps. Remember, for Student Services Center, on the first floor, we're going to have admissions, financial aid, student accounts, veterans, and outreach where the Promise office is. On the second floor, you're going to find Student Health Services, the Avanza Center for Cruise students, the Testing Center, and the Stand. The third floor is going to house the Career and the Transfer Center, the General Counseling Center, EOPS, Borderless Scholars, Fast Start Trio, and the fourth floor is going to house DSPS, Disability Support Programs and Services, and Associated Student Government. So now, before you meet with a counselor and you set up that session, don't forget to do your own research and visit assist.org. Don't forget to start thinking about which general education course worksheet is right for you. Look at the course description for some of Mesa classes on the catalog, or the course description for some of Mesa College's classes that you want to take and maybe you're just interested in. Consider 1 or 2 major prep courses for the fall, and a general ed courses from the semester to reach your 12-unit requirement, and personal growth can be one of them. And be prepared to ask questions. Before you meet with a counselor, make sure you go back to your promise email. You go to the Google Docs page information where you will have to answer 3 questions from this presentation. You must get them all correct, and then you will be able to see times and dates for you to set up a half-an-hour Zoom session to speak with a counselor and complete your abbreviated education plan, which is a promise requirement. So remember, go back to that initial email that you received from Promise so that you know what next steps need to be taken in order to complete your abbreviated education plan once you've definitely made some research into these 5 steps. Thank you for joining us for this presentation. We will see you in a counseling session. Bye.